Hey Layla, it's Miss Becca. I am at Miss Nicole's mom's house, and she has this really cool cowboy themed room for all the grandkids. And so she has a bathroom full of cowboy books. And so I borrowed Mr. Bryan's cowboy boots because I left mine at home in Indiana. And I wanted to read to you a cowboy book today. It says, Why Cowboys Sleep with Their Boots On by Lori Lazaro Noton. This book has really pretty illustrations, Layla. Why cowboys sleep with their boots on. There's a rattlesnake. I see an armadillo. And then I see this cowboy laying here on what we call the cowboy bed for our boys when they go to grandma's house. We call a sleeping bag a cowboy bed. Why cowboys sleep with their boots on. Slim Jim Watkins was one tired cowboy. Sliding out of his saddle, Slim Jim Watkins popped the dirt from his breeches. He seemed like he'd lassoed and branded more than 1,000 longhorns. All of this didn't mind him much. He just wanted to go to bed. They kind of say things a little bit funny in this book, Layla, kind of cowboy talk, a little bit backwards of how we might say things in Indiana. So Slim Jim Watkins stripped off his clothes, all but his long johns, and he crawled into his bedroll. No sooner did he lay his head on his cowboy hat than Slim Jim Watkins was sound asleep. Okay, I want to take a minute and look at these illustrations. There's a rattlesnake hiding behind this rock. Here are the longhorns grazing. It looks like they're in the desert because there's the saguaro cactus, okay? And then it's very dry and dusty. So this is an illustration of Slim Jim sleeping, okay? Here's his cowboy boots. There's his spurs. Look at his blue jeans that he took off. Something has slithered into his blue jeans. There's 2 rattlesnakes. Their heads are hanging out the ankles of his blue jeans, and their rattles are hanging out the waistband. Rise and shine, bellowed the chuck wagon cook. Slim Jim Watkins stretched, groaned, and reached for his breeches. My breeches! They're gone! Slim Jim Watkins searched and searched, but he couldn't find his breeches. This is enough to sour a man's outlook for the day, he thought. Look at the horse. The horse kind of reminds me of how Judy looks, very serious and worried about the situation, but unable to say or do anything, Layla. This is a cook over here, and I think they call this the chuck wagon, okay, that carries all the supplies and food for when they're herding cattle. And it looks like they're cooking their breakfast over a campfire with this kettle, probably has some coffee in it. And then this big giant soup pot probably is making something maybe like oatmeal or maybe some kind of meat sausage stew for breakfast. Grumbling, Slim Jim Watkins slipped his chaps over his long johns and went to work. Darn it, grabbed Slim Jim Watkins. These long johns are wearing thin. I need my breeches. So, after a long day's work, Slim Jim Watkins went to town to buy new denim breeches. So he's hopping on the horse, and where you sit and what gets kind of the most wear and tear is your behind and your inner thigh when you're riding. So that's why they wore denim blue jeans, because they are really durable. And here he is at the county store trying on some new breeches. Kind of makes me giggle, Layla. Okay. It was dark when Slim Jim Watkins rode back to camp. He was a mighty tired cowboy. His bedroll was a welcome sight. Slim Jim Watkins slipped off all his duds, all but his long johns and his new breeches. Then he collapsed into his bedroll. No sooner did he lay his head on his hat than he was sound asleep. Snort. Woo! So he's kind of snoring. What do you see over here, Layla? It looks like some kind of dog. I'm going to make a guess. This might be a coyote. They live on the prairie and in the desert. Okay, and here's Slim Jim Watkins. This page just has illustrations, and so it looks like he's sound asleep, laying on his bedroll with his head on his cowboy hat. Slim Jim Watkins has his boots up here, probably trying to keep him warm by the campfire. Okay, but it looks like some creatures have come into camp. Here is this dog again, probably the coyote. And this looks like a really large rabbit. On the prairie, we call these jackrabbits, like your dad's name. But that means they're really big rabbits. Layla, your dad's really tall, so we could nickname him Jackrabbit. Rise and shine, roared the chuck wagon cook. Slim Jim Watkins stretched, yawned, and reached for his bandana. My bandana, it's gone. Slim Jim Watkins searched and searched, but could not find his bandana. Finally, he went to work. So over here is he's searching and he's looking. He's got on his cowboy boots with his spurs, his hat, but no bandana. The bandana, they wear it around their neck, Layla, and that helps the cowboys a lot of times to keep from getting sunburn. And Mr. Brock used to wear one of those when they would be out in the sunshine. It'd keep his face also from getting sunburn if he'd wear it up over his nose and mouth. Kind of wear it under his eyes like a bandit. Darn, growled Slim Jim Watkins. He coughed and he choked from the dirt, riled up by the cattle. I need my bandana. So that bandana was helping to keep all the dust out of his mouth when he's breathing. That night, Slim Jim Watkins traded a week's worth of dishwashing for the cook's bandana. After doing dishes, Slim Jim Watkins was one tired cowboy. He stumbled to his bedroll and he stripped off his duds, all but his worn long johns, new breeches, and his new bandana. And that night, he was so tired, he forgot to lay his head on his hat. So he left his hat laying out there. I think I might be able to observe someone hiding in the bushes. Can you take a minute, Layla, to look at the bushes? I think we called these bushes sagebrush on the prairie. Look who's hiding over here. This is called an armadillo. Does anybody know anything about armadillos? Do we have one fact about armadillos? Okay. I know one fact about armadillos, and it's that they cannot see very well. They're kind of near to being blind, so they have a very hard time seeing. So in this illustration, we don't have any words, but Slim Jim Watkins is sleeping. His boots are over here by the sagebrush. But look who's crawling close to the cowboy hat. Soon after, the chuck wagon cook clanged his pots together and yelled, Rise and shine! Slim Jim Watkins stretched and yawned. My hat! Where's my hat? Slim Jim Watkins jumped to his feet. Frantically he searched. Losing my breeches and my bandana is one thing, but losing my hat is something else again. He looks a little bit exasperated, maybe frustrated. Cowboy hats, Layla, help to keep the sunshine off of your neck and your ears. It help to shade you. When you're out riding on a horse on the prairie, there's not a lot of shade, so it helps to keep you cool. Get to work, boomed the trail boss. So Slim Jim Watkins went to work without his hat. Darn! Beefed Slim Jim Watkins. When the blistering sun burnt his face, I need my hat. So Slim Jim Watkins rode into town to buy a new hat. Boy, the man at the general store, his face looks a little bit like he's happy. The smoke of the campfire rolled skyward to the stars as Slim Jim Watkins rode his weary horse into camp. Slim Jim Watkins was tired. He was a tired cowboy. "Oh, is my bedroll gonna feel soft as a cow's underside tonight," he said. Sitting beside his bedroll, Slim Jim Watkins started to pull off his boots. Now, what do you notice in the dark here, Layla? I think I see some glowing eyeballs. "On second thought," he said, "I'm gonna sleep just the way I am." And he did, boots and all. The end. So it's kind of fun, Layla, because Slim Jim Watkins, if those animals, the jackrabbit or the armadillo or the coyote, probably the coyote would do it, hauled off his cowboy boots, then he would be barefoot, and it would be very challenging to walk around the prairie without any shoes on your feet. Layla, I hope you enjoyed Why Do Cowboys Wear Boots or Sleep with Their Boots On? And I hope that you're getting strong and your body's healing every day in the hospital.